Hi everybody, I'm back. So I updated the description of my station or my channel because I had thought about possibly doing different channels for the different things I have going on, but I would never be able to keep them straight. I have too many things going on. Um, Look, no glasses, contacts in today. Very happy that that Red Eye accepted my contact. Did not hurt. It was great. I can wear my contacts again. Hair's a mess. Everything. I've been super busy today. Um, I thought today I would give you a little bit of background on myself. Just get to know me a little. So, um, my dad and his brothers and my uncles were all ironworkers. My cousins, most of them are ironworkers. My brother's an ironworker. I come from an ironworker family. So, I was the only girl, and we moved where the work was. So, we moved around a lot. Well, my dad tried to keep us in one spot as much as he could, and he would travel to the jobs. Um, but, sometimes we had to move. I was born in Pekin, moved to Utah, moved a couple times there, came back to Central Illinois, and that's where we're at now. Um, Stayed here in this area. Had never, when I graduated high school, I did not plan on staying here. I planned on moving somewhere with the beach because that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be by the beach. Didn't know which side of the country I was going to go to. I just wanted to go to the beach. I'm still in Central Illinois, and that's probably where I'll stay because wasn't supposed to be able to have kids. Surprise, I have two. Um, I love them dearly, but I don't want to miss out on any part of their lives, on anything they might need me for, like when they go to get married, when they go to have kids. They're going to need their mom for that kind of thing. Granted, they're 18 and 20 now, but they don't really need me for much right now, which is fine. That's the way it should be. I have absolutely no problem with that. I love having a lot more time. I get to do my projects that I want to do right now. Um, so, they live their lives, they're having a ball, that kind of thing. And I have my time to do the stuff I want. I did things kind of the way you're supposed to. Graduated high school, went straight into the community college, wasn't ready for it, dropped out. A couple years later, tried again. That time, my parents decided they were only going to pay for the classes. I had to come up with the money for my books because they paid for it the first time. Um, so um, that I understood. I tried it. Still didn't know what I wanted to do. Dropped out again. Had my son and realized that it's time to grow up and figure out what you're going to do. You have a kid now. So I went back again. This time I applied for financial aid and they gave it to me and I graduated. I have a degree. That's where I have my paralegal degree. That's my paying job. That's one that pays the bills. And then, of course, I've got my kids. They're 18 and 20. They're 26 months apart. It was rough when they were little. I was going to school, working full time, two kids. I had my daughter 3 weeks into a semester. It was rough, but made it through. I pushed my way through. I got it done. Married at 22, kid at 24, kid at 26. Doing it the way you were supposed to do it doesn't always mean you're going to be happy with it. Was it last year? Last year, the end of February, I got very sick. It was not COVID. It was influenza A with pneumonia in both lungs. Spent a week in ICU. They kept me sedated for 3 days while they debated on whether or not I was going to need to be intubated and if I was even going to wake up again. I did, obviously. Came home, new anxieties, uh, started sliding into a depression. For a year, I didn't leave my house except to go to work. And that's because I have my own office where I can just shut the door. Can't be exposed to anybody if they can't get to you. And I didn't do anything. I went to work, I came home. That was it. Uh, my dad kept trying every time he saw me. He said, promise me you'll do this. Promise me you'll do that. He did everything he could to get me off the couch, doing something, get me outside. I wasn't ready. So now I was raised a country girl. I really was. My uncle actually lived on a farm. He lived out, he always lived out and about, out further out of town. When we lived in Utah, we had a horse corral in our yard right next to our house. Horses were always around. And I'm going to be honest, I was always leery of them. I always wanted to make sure my dad was there when I was on a horse, either my dad or my Uncle Mike, because those two, I felt more comfortable with those two there because I knew if something were to happen with their personalities, they would just tell the horse, knock your shit off, and the horse would listen. Um, we did lose my Uncle Mike a few years ago, but I haven't been on a horse since. So, my life, like I said in the first video, it could be it probably could be a reality show. Um, my son kind of is, my son is a good mixture of me and my husband. He's got both our tempers, put that together, so he flies off the handle very easily. My daughter is me, reincarnated, exactly like I was at that age. Looks just like me at that age. Now that I heard what actually just, I'm very proud of my work. When anything I do, I'm very proud of it. I don't like to feel like I'm failing at anything, and I don't like my work to be subpar. And I had a review at work, and granted, they were all 4s and 5s, and 5 is the highest, but it wasn't good enough for me. And I realized it was because, that whole year I kept slipping further and further. So I pulled on my big girl panties and I deal with it. Yeah, I had PTSD from getting out of the hospital, COVID hitting, and then all of a sudden, there's all this stuff, and now I have new anxieties and all this. Okay, deal with it. So I would tell anybody else, deal with it. So what do I need to do? I need to deal with it. So I did. So I am feeling so much more like myself now. I got Prophecy out. I got it published. I finished it. Last weekend, I spent the entire weekend writing. I put 15,000 words into that book over the weekend. This weekend, I have, this morning, I've already gotten my laundry done. And then because I have the new covers out on the trilogy, I took all the books out of the totes that I keep them in, of the old, packed them up, and then I had to organize my office because I couldn't hardly walk in here because I'm getting new shipments in and I'm getting shipping stuff together because I'm trying to get kind of started a little bit on this new herbal stuff that I'm going to try I'm going to try doing soaps and candles and salves and stuff like that, packets that with instructions on how to mix things, how you got to do things for different ideas on things on the apothecary thing. Of course, none of that's going to happen right away. I have to get everything together. I have to research more. I have to get more things done before I can do that. But as things come in, I have to find somewhere for it to go. And when I had to order the bubbles for shipping stuff, yeah, I ordered 2 big rolls because I have for my author, I'm doing baskets for one of the events. Well, you can't just put a basket in a box and ship it. You have to have it secured in that box. So I've got all these, I mean, granted, thank God they're in rolls. So it's easier to like put them there. Hubby is talking about putting shelves in for me. It just hasn't gotten to the point of actually getting them in yet because, we just started like this when they came in. I'm like, okay, I am like running out of room in my office and I'm stacking things against the wall in the hallway. We kind of got to do something. So, um, so now I have the book 2 in my Stragaria series, which is Italian witches. I have not started it because I am about halfway through the Second Chance romance. I'm about halfway through the first book in my Dragon Shifter book, which is paranormal suspense. I'm not doing paranormal romance anymore. I have a hard time getting a lot of romance in there. I kind of tend to focus more on the other aspects of it. So therefore, I'm just going to do paranormal suspense or just plain paranormal. They all will have an aspect of romance in them, but it's not going to focus on the romance anymore. That was kind of tough for me. So I'm going to stick with what works better for me, and then hopefully that will make it a better book for you. So my Dragon Shifter book, I'm about halfway through the first book, and then I have a Fairy Queen book that it's going to be a 5-book series as well. I've got quite a few things written as far as scenes in my journal, my author journal. However, I haven't actually started that one yet. I've got quite a few scenes written down that have come to me, but it's still simmering. It's not quite ready. And then I have a dystopian that I'm going to write. That one I'm writing for my son. He's always, he loves those kind of things. And I promised him I would write him a book for that. And then I won a cover that from my cover artist. She runs contests, and I won a cover that would be perfect for it. So I've got that pretty much figured out what that's going to be about and that kind of things. And I've got a few scenes written for that, but I haven't started it yet either. And then I have one that it's probably going to take me quite a few years to actually write because I'm in nature research and I have to really think about what I want to put and how I want to put it. It's going to be called Tortured Minds, and it is about veterans when they come back from being overseas. They come back, they fight overseas, they see all the stuff that we have no idea about, and then they come back and they have PTSD. How could they not? And then they have injuries on top of that. And then, how do they come back and just merge with society again? So that one is it's gonna take a while for me to, get that one actually out. So that one just kind of, I work on it a little bit here and there. I haven't actually started it. I've got notes and it's up on my board and I write more up there, but that one's going to be a while. So those are what I'm working on. Of course, I have more notes in my journal of stuff that I've just been, it's an idea. It popped in my head. I wrote it down, whether it goes anywhere or not. Who knows? It might end up on a board. It might just stay in the journal. It may not go anywhere. And then today, okay, so I opened a new tab on the browser, and I see so I don't know how many of you know this, but I grew up as Episcopalian. That's what my parents are. That's what my grandparents were. That blah blah blah, all the way back. And I grew up that way. And then when I got older, I decided that this just doesn't feel right to me anymore. So I started investigating and looking into different things. I am now pagan. And so I open a new thing and it starts talking about some Celtic gods or something. I don't know. But it was like if you follow this Nordic gods. If you follow this Nordic practice, your life will improve tenfold. And I can't even say this word. It's like Friluftsliv. It's Friluftsliv. And it translates roughly into open air living. So they're saying that like everybody in the Norse area of the world live by this, like Sweden and all of them, they live by this to where they spend most of their time outside in the open air. And that's supposed to, they don't have, like they have very little depression, anxiety, and all this stuff. So I'm like, and they're like, oh, you can just do, like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, I spend an hour a day outside because I get 2 half-hour breaks. I split my lunch in 2. I get 2 half-hour breaks at lunch, and I sit outside. I sit in my car, but the door is open, and then the passenger windows roll down. And I still can't go inside a store. I have social anxiety. I can't have people in my house. I can't go around a bunch of people. Just one, like 3 or 4 people. I'm like, I'm out of here. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I read the article. It makes sense when you read the article. It really does. And I don't see how it can be generalized like that. I can see how it can help some people, just not all of them. And then the article next to it said, how to make your family safe by 24-hour monitoring. 24-hour monitoring. And I'm like, you're going to monitor everybody in your family for 24 hours, or somebody else is going to monitor your family for 24 hours? I'm like, so I clicked on it, and thankfully it was just a alarm system ad. But I'm like, okay, so for people to think it's okay to put online that you'll make your family safe if you watch their every move for 24 hours, all the time. Never stop watching every move your whole family makes. I'm like, when did we become okay with that kind of thing? Because I wouldn't be. I don't even do that to my kids. I ask them where they're going. They tell me. And I say, okay, but if you're, and, now that they're 18 and 20, I'm just like, okay, but, if, something big changes, let me know. Just so I know if something happens where you're at. Everybody this day and age, anybody over the age of 8, well, sometimes even younger than 8, has a cell phone. You can get a hold of anybody at any time. So I don't understand this whole monitor everybody and turning on family locator and knowing where everybody is at every moment, because I'm sorry, but it's none of my business where my 20-year-old son is. Honestly, he's 20 years old. He can do what he wants. It's not my business anymore. So, okay, well, this was a long video. I just wanted to give you guys a look into my personality, who I am, kind of what I got going on, where things might go, that kind of thing. So, I was told by somebody that they couldn't comment on one of my videos. I don't see a problem on my end. So if you're not able to comment, email me at mlshanklin@gmail.com. And then I will see what I can do. I'll even if I have to do the ask YouTube, hey, help me out here. I don't see what the problem is. So if you're wanting to leave a comment and you can't, it's not letting you, email me. It's mlshanklin@gmail.com. So talk to you later.